I have 25 minutes and I have 40 plus slides. So I'm going to go fast. This is recorded. Also, if you have questions, we will not have time at the end. But what we will have is we have a booth that you guys can visit. And we also have meeting rooms where we're showing some of the software that we're going to talk about today. To start with, in April, we hit a major milestone as a business. So Pico has been operating for 10 plus years. And there are some great stories and photos from our history that I'd love to share for a couple minutes, and then we'll jump into the topic of LBE. Thank you. Thank you. So, 10 years is a long time in this industry, and we did it with partners, and we did it through releasing almost one new device per year. So this is an example of some of the major products. We released the first all-in-one standalone, 3DOF headsets, 6DOF VR, and now we're talking about 6DOF MR. So these are the family of devices that we've released over the last 10 years. Pico Enterprise has 4 main verticals. Today, we're going to spend the vast majority of time talking about location-based entertainment, but it behooves me to at least quickly talk about the other 3 because, for instance, if you come to our booth, we've got some great ISV partners like Shapes SR, Ventana, and Roundtable, all of which do XR training and 3D visualization, prototyping. In XR education, there's another partner for Pico that's, I believe, in the Qualcomm booth, which is Prisms. And then XR Care, you saw some examples from the video that XR can be used in a number of ways to help with pain management, rehabilitation, therapy, psychology, and therapeutic use cases. But today, for the rest of the time, we are here to talk location-based entertainment. So this is a kind of nice piece of key art that shows, you've got the headsets, you've also got these trackers, and let's get to some numbers because I did promise with this presentation that there would be numbers. So this is from an industry source. You can take it for what it's worth, but I think 25% CAGR is going to sound pretty reasonable when I get to the next slide. Pico's growth rate in the China LBE market has been 1,000% this year, and just in the month of April, it's been 270% growth. That's in terms of the number of active devices. So let's get to the real stats. LBE, people want numbers. 20,000 headsets have been deployed in China. On a good day, we're talking about 8,000 daily actives. This is across 1,000 venues. This is 100 pieces of content that are achieving a meaningful monthly revenue rate. And then the total tickets that are done across all of these sites and all of these headsets is that we've crossed in the previous month 40,000 tickets for our China LBE business. So this is like, it's growing and it's already gotten somewhere interesting, and we are expecting the growth rate to continue. How do you do this? So to be able to do LBE well, the first thing is the hardware. And obviously in September of last year, we announced our newest product, the Pico 4 Ultra Enterprise. It also came with these motion trackers, which we'll get into. But it's not just the hardware, it's the software that supports these devices, that makes using the devices easy to operate. And then finally, it's putting together the ecosystem. So finding the people who are creating the amazing content, making it easy for them to build their experiences, and then also finding the venues and the operators and the locations where that content is going to be displayed. And you have to act like a matchmaker and bring all of these ecosystem components together in one place. Let's start with the Ultra. So the Ultra is state of the art. It can do mixed reality. It has world-class hand tracking. It has 6-off head tracking, controller tracking, and with all Pico products, if you've ever tried a Pico device, you know that they have a neutral balance. The battery is in the back, and the display and all the other components are in the front. So when it's sitting on your head, it's always a comfortable experience. With the motion trackers, we released these. They started off as a pair, so you could add them to your ankles. Then we've been enhancing what they're capable of. So now up to 5 trackers can be used for object tracking. You can also buy a waistband that adds more points of articulation if you're doing full body tracking. So this is and most importantly, this is an incredibly affordable. So a pair of trackers costs less than $100, and they last for up to 25 hours of battery life. So this is a easy to deploy, affordable solution for doing tracking. So what is LBE mode? In December of last year, or let's say Q4 of last year, we went out, we had created the hardware, and then we went to the ecosystem of developers and said, what are your main pain points? Like, what prevents you from scaling? What prevents you from deploying your headsets at scale, making it as easy as possible for the operators to run the venue, to take care of the products? So then we targeted these kind of key benefits, right? So making it easy to set up, doing map sharing, and then increasing the accuracy. So with our most recent system update, we've increased the accuracy by 80%. Other ways that you can get content onto our devices, there is still a huge ecosystem of PC VR content. And even though you can run content locally on our headsets in standalone mode, the fact that we can allow wireless or wired PC streaming means that we're basically doubling the volume of content that is accessible to people when they're doing venues. We're allowing you to like resurrect older content that was published on Steam, and it still works on our headsets today. So this was the meaningful update that we did about 2 months ago. We released a brand new algorithm, which, as I said, produces 80% more accurate tracking, especially when you're using Uruku markers. Another key point was that you can now draw shapes and objects within the Guardian. So it used to be you just map the outside boundary of the room, but now you can even map objects like a pillar that are inside of the room. And anyway, there were just a number of other quality of life improvements for developers to be able to tap into with the system update. So the Pico Business Device Manager, this was something that I announced at AWE in Europe last year in October, November. And we have subsequently had more than 1,000 companies who are using the Business Device Manager, almost 20,000 devices enrolled. And I'm happy to say that we're extending the free trial period until 2026. What is Business Device Manager? So Business Device Manager allows you to control manage, update your devices remotely. If you are working with multiple locations or venues, you can manage that fleet of devices. You can set up, hey, this is venue A, it has this content installed. This is venue B, has a different set of content installed. Next, so Pico is also renowned for the fact that you can actually talk to people at Pico and you don't have to file a ticket. We have technical teams based in both Europe and in the US, as well as obviously China. So there's the TPM team, there's the SDK engineers. We are able to work with partners. Let's say you do run into a system level bug and we aren't able to patch that bug until the next system update. We will make a custom firmware for you to be able to run, to be able to make a hot fix for that if that's what you need, if that's what's right for your business. So we are accessible, we're available, and we are trying to meet the needs and requirements of our partners. And this is, I've been told by marketing I have to include this slide. So you can always work with us and talk with us to share stories. We have some social media accounts. We also go to trade shows. As I said, today at AWE, we're showing more than 3 different partner experiences within our booth, giving them space to do demos. Plus, we have worked with Emotion to make sure that they had the space to be able to do demos of their LBE motion share product. So please, if you use Pico and you want to promote and talk about how great it is to work with Pico, we are here to share that message. Okay, now we are going to get to the specific examples and KPIs from the partners that we work with. And some of them are here, some of them we have the demo content in our meeting room, and some of them you have to go to the venue if you want to try it. And these venues and locations are all over the globe. The key success story, the first success story is Hero Zone. So they have 800 venues globally. But what was impressive is that we, as part of this project in China to try and tap into the LBE market, we identified this as a key partner. We brought them to China and, oops, I'm gonna go back. So we brought them to China and our estimate was that maybe there would be 30 stores, you know, by this point in time, but we've seen adoption be more than 80 locations. So that's almost 3 times what our internal original estimates were. Here is Veronia, and Veronia was very kind and generous to be able to share like very specific metrics about what it means for them as a business to move to a Pico device. So they found that it's a 32% reduction in the setup time. So when you have new users coming into your venue and they're putting on the headsets and getting ready for the experience. They're also noticing a 60% reduction in RMA. And then just overall, they're very, very happy with the onboarding, and they're obviously gathering like Net Promoter Score and other metrics after the end of the experience. They have found that the overall satisfaction with going through their content has improved by 24%. Spawn Point is a great example of somebody who listened to the market and wanted to solve the issue of some great content is standalone, some great content is PCVR. So in this case, Spawn Point is putting together a content library that includes what the best of PCVR LBE content and the best of standalone content. They're 100% compatible with Pico, and we have the demo in our meeting room, and you can see how deeply integrated their platform operator tools are as it relates to using the Pico Enterprise APIs. Phenomena is a relatively new partner. We only announced the partnership, I think, less than a month ago, but things are going in a great direction. These are some of the reasons that they like working with Pico. So there is no unique user identifiable data. Also, they've found that the map sharing, both the accuracy and the speed of doing map sharing, is a huge quality of life improvement for the operators. And then one thing that they called out about working with Pico is that we have lots of great relationships with manufacturers in China for like batteries, headphones, masks, you know, so all the accessories that you need to run a venue, and you want to make sure you have access to a good supply of those components. So here's Synthesis. Synthesis is another content aggregation system. So one thing that they're doing that's interesting is they're aggregating content that's not just LBE gaming, but they're also trying to aggregate content that comes from the enterprise world. So that allows the operators to, fully utilize the venue. So maybe in the morning, you're doing a corporate project, and then in the afternoon, the teenagers show up, and then at night, the adults show up. And so if you can offer more variety of content, and if you can switch, I mean, ultimately, once you've set up a play space, whether it's a training application or a gaming application, the space and the quality of the space really matters. So this is what they were able to tell us. RV, what makes them really impressive is how they've pushed us as a company to develop the best possible APIs and tools. So they are like deep into the weeds of, they are trying to solve the problem of how do you make the management of the venues, how do you let the operators do the least amount of troubleshooting possible. So all of the troubleshooting and all of the device management and everything possible is automated through their platform and system. So, and last but not least, this is a great example of taking, a lot of what I've shown you so far is your classic VR arcade, competitive or cooperative shooter experiences. Well, what if you could offer VR escape rooms? So this is VR Cave, and they're able to get 6 players into a shared space. They're being able to maintain that 90 frames per second. And again, they highlight, like, we have exposed through our APIs all of the techniques and tools that you need to be able to build a front end for the venue, for the operator, to make managing the users, managing the content, managing the experience as seamless as possible. I'm gonna let the video finish. Perfect. If that was all that we did, I mean, probably everyone in this room, I hope, has at some point played games in XR, maybe even been to some VR arcades, done some free roam stuff. And that was kind of what the market had for a long time. But as we have seen in the last 12 months, the type of experiences possible with this technology is just exploding. And where it's exploding the most is in art and culture. So this is an example of a Chinese partner who is winning awards. They've released more than, I think, 7 or 8 award-winning content. It's Da Xian Wonderland. I had to memorize that. That was hard. But 160 stores, they're approaching 1 million users or people visiting their venues and trying their content. And they are absolutely setting the bar for Chinese-based, location-based entertainment experiences. And then this is one that's near and dear to my heart. The first time I saw this content, it just changed my perspective about what is possible in the world of free roam and arts and culture. So Acciona is an events company based in Barcelona, and they are in Madrid, in Spain. They partnered with the Prado Museum, which is the national museum of Spain in Madrid. And they basically have fully scanned these major masterpieces of art and wrapped around seeing the artwork, a narrative journey where you go through the museum and you basically learn the context of the art. So you get to visit the house that Goya was in when he was kind of losing his mind, and you see that he was painting on all the walls, and it's just an incredible immersive experience. It's multi-user, free roam. I think it's either 60 or 90 people at a time, depending on the space. And it's currently in Madrid, but it will be touring in a number of venues in China, also South America. And I hope they'll be able to find some venues here in North America as well.
And created by Universe.
Created by Universe, exactly. Universe is the platform on which this content was created. This is an example of a Chinese-based museum. Everybody knows the Terracotta Warriors. Actually, there's an exhibit, I guess, in Orange County, which is also connected to the Terracotta Warriors. But what makes this so impressive is that they've found a really big space. It's in the right location. It's next to the actual archaeological venue. They're able to do up to 8,000 people per day. And they've been running this thing at basically full capacity for more than 100 days. So this is just shows the appetite in the China market for culture-based free roam content. Let the video finish. Should be 1 or 2 more seconds. Perfect. This just happened 2 weeks ago, May 28th. So Blanca Lee is a choreographer. She's most famous for the work she did with the Paris Ballet or Paris Opera, and she has created an event company that basically combines live music, live dancers in a shared space in a venue that can host up to 200 people. So there are 200 people in the venue wearing our headsets, seeing the live performers, plus there's like projection mapping happening on the walls. And anyway, this is like absolutely boundary pushing in terms of what is it going to mean to go to a live event? How are you going to experience these live performances when you mix MR plus the professional dancers plus the live music? Yeah, and key point is 200 users at the same time in the same space. It's a lot of headsets. Styly, so they're also here. Everyone should go to their booth. They have this venue in the Tokyo Dome City. So 50 people can go through the experience at the same time. It's an experience related to visiting the moon. And they have up to 1,000 person daily capacity. So again, there was always this challenge if you're a venue, like am I going to get the throughput that I need? Am I going to have enough people going through my venue to be able to make the economics work? And they are a great example of being able to put together content, a very compelling experience that has high throughput, high number of concurrent users. I think this is like a 2-minute video, so I'm going to unfortunately move on to the next one. Wristband. So wristband, I just got to experience my first wristband concert in Barcelona at the Off Festival. That was like a month ago. It is a band, and the lead singer is also a video MR DJ. So he's performing his music, but he's at the same time working with a laptop and queuing up different types of immersive experiences. And actually the crowd each is represented in the VR MR experience as like points of light. And so you with the other audience members are converging and moving together. And anyway, it's a 2-person band, and they travel around. And what they'll always say is, you know, if you're getting invited to festivals and you're having to move around a lot, like the number one thing you care about is how quickly can I take this stuff out of the box, get set up, and be doing my show. So for them, the time, the ability to carry everything they need, get on a flight, like, you know, you're carrying all your other band instruments, equipment, and then they just add our headsets to the mix, and basically they're able to take this traveling MR live concert show on the road, and you know, 10,000 people have been able to experience it, which is pretty impressive for basically like a small independent indie band. Time Ride. So Time Ride is maybe a more classic example of people going to a museum and they want to experience content that complements what's in the museum. This is a dinosaur content, which is always fun and relevant. And in just 2 months, they've managed to, again, back to throughput and number of users, and how do you make this work both as a cultural content, but also as an economic business model. So they were able to have more than 10,000 people go through the experience in less than 2 months. I'm going to run out of time, but I will go fast through the rest. Pell Assembly, another MR experience, full mocap. The dancers get turned into these really exotic, wild digital beings that you're in the performance with the dancers as they are being mutated into all these different shapes and objects. And it won an award. The name of the content is Hinterlands. And again, this one, you have to go somewhere to find it. So if you hear the word Hinterlands, if you hear about Pell Assembling and you have the chance, go and try it. And then Layers of Reality, another Barcelona-based company. They have Alpha 5, which is the experience in the middle, which is VR, esports, fitness. So you can go to a venue and try a bunch of mini games with your friends doing competition. And in addition, they do a ton of great cultural stuff like Pompeii and Titanic. Okay, last, I have to talk about the part of the market that maybe is a little less innovative and new, but honestly, it's incredible what some of these partners are able to do. VR Coaster has had more than 4 million people. We've worked with them. Universal rides. They've done a bunch of other rides at Europa Park. And so they were kind of the pioneers of adding VR, XR technology to rides. Here is we already saw it in the previous video, but what a concept, and obviously what kind of safety issues, and you really are challenging, the quality of the tracking and the performance of the device. If you're sitting in a go-kart going, whatever, 30 miles per hour, running around a track, you do not want to have these go-karts collide. But it turns go-karting into a one and done. I've tried it. I've been to that venue, into a ever-changing. So you can obviously design new skins, new courses using the exact same venue. So creating replayability. This is just announced last week. So this is Port Aventura. So if you have Disneyland in LA, in Spain, you have in Barcelona, you have Port Aventura, which has Diablo, which was one of their older roller coasters. And they decided that the best way to turn that into a really exciting, crowd-pleasing experience was to work with Pico to do MR. You can only imagine the number of technical challenges and crazy things that we had to solve. So this is a great example of our TPM team, our technical team, going above and beyond to make sure that that actually, like, going to the venue and doing the testing and making sure it works. DOF Robotics, pretty great example of if you have a space and you can drop in one of these motion simulators, you can have a pretty turnkey solution that allows you to monetize. You can have 6 or 8 people in this ride. You can have a venue with a very little footprint, and you can create an immersive experience that monetizes. And then last but not least, and definitely we're so happy that they came to AWE to exhibit with us. So here we are with Emotion. And Emotion is basically, again, this concept of going to a venue. The venue is able to carve out some space, and then Emotion brings all the equipment and works with the venue to create this new revenue stream that is highly engaging. I went to the aquarium in New Orleans, and they were at max capacity the whole time I was there. So it's just a great way for venues to increase and drive more engagement with the users. And with that, we have a booth, 4117, and also Emotion, I think, is at PG11. And I wish I had time for questions, but I will be outside and around. You come to our booth, come to our meeting room. Thank you very much for letting me go over the time.
We actually have a break after this, so if you want to take questions.
Sure, I will take questions.
If anyone has a question, please come to the mic so it can be recorded. Any questions? Yes.
Pastor Kremen, is it just black and white now, and do you have on your roadmap full color Pastor?
It's been RGB for 2 generations of products. It's I hope I get this right. It's 36 camera that gets compressed down to 8 megapixel. What do you call? I need a TPM person. Where you mesh the 2 images together. So it takes the left and right image and creates a composite image. But it's full color now. You can come and check it out in the booth. You can come up. Yeah, it is as good as any other MR product on the market today in our price category. I will put that caveat there. Cool.
Hi, I'm Philip. I've created a lot of location-based experience for the past 10 years. Never used the Pico, so very excited to learn about all that. Where should we go if we want to try a few headsets and do some pilot experiments and get answers to all the technical questions?
Are you based in North America, Europe? Where are you based?
LA.
LA? So in LA, we have two Pico employees are based in LA. So if you reach out to me afterwards, we can definitely have you come to an office and do some demos.
Sometimes.
We're also in the meeting room upstairs. Spawn Point and Hero Zone are running right now on 4 headsets. So meeting room is 202A.
Any other questions?
Okay, thank you, everyone.